Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wobbly94. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're having a great Memorial Day. I'm going to try to have this video uploaded today on Memorial Day, but if I don't, it might be late at night, it might be after midnight, I don't know. I'm going to try to have it up for you. Anyway, today I have a Goodwill book haul. So this one, I have about, let's see, 5 new books that I picked up from Goodwill recently. And I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. It's been a kind of a little bit of a struggle. I have, of course, my main channel is Michael Goosebumps Fan, where I review Goosebumps books and things like Goosebumps books. So I stay kind of busy over there. I read like a Goosebumps book or two a week, so we're a little busy right now. I'm also in the middle of a werewolf review-a-thon with 2 other YouTubers over there, if in case you want to go check out the channel, and I'll have their links in their descriptions of those videos too, from me. Getting to the book haul, though. The first one I have here is one that I had kind of thought about starting to pick up here soon. This one was in decent enough condition that I wanted to go ahead and pick it up. I'm a big Harry Potter fan from back in the day. I'm not as big of a Harry Potter fan as I am a Star Wars fan, or as big of a Harry Potter fan as I am about a Goosebumps fan, or anything like that. I love the movies for Harry Potter. They're not all perfect. They're not all my favorite. I don't love and adore all of them. But they're typically well made, and they're typically a fine, good budget. They're typically kind of scary, you know? And I like that mixture of fantasy and horror that Harry Potter has going for it. I've only read a couple of the books. I read the first 2. I read the first one numerous times. I love it. I think it's a great book. Just something about it. Chamber of Secrets has never been my favorite. I don't really read too many of that one. However, I have always had most of the books in paperback. I've never really had a hardcover of these except for the, what is it? It's like the 5th book. Half-Blood Prince. I remember I bought that when Half-Blood Prince came out. Because the movies had scared me so much by the time Part 4 had come out that I had not watched Harry Potter for a few years. And then Half-Blood Prince came out. I checked that out, and I really loved the movie, and it got me back into Harry Potter. So anyway, at some point I wanted to go ahead and start picking up. When I saw at Barnes & Noble, they're still selling hardcovers of Harry Potter books, and the old cover editions that I always loved growing up from the paperbacks that I have. I wanted to go ahead at some point and start collecting the actual hardcovers, and I was at Goodwill near another part of Virginia that my wife's father lives in, my father-in-law. And we went into this Goodwill I've never been into, and I bought like $27 worth of stuff between movies and books. About $10, $12 of that went towards the books. Most of the movies I bought were VHS, so I think there's even more went to the books. But anyway, this one is Harry Potter Year 7 and the Deathly Hallows. Well, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Year 7 out of the series. This is book number 7. I loved this cover when I was growing up. When I saw this get released, I loved this cover so much. I love like the Voldemort hands and stuff out here. Just something about this cover, man. It's just beautiful. But the only damage I saw was up here at the top, which happens when people sit stuff on top of it, you know, on a bookshelf. Everything else looks good. I looked through the whole book. I'm very surprised by how well together this is. There's no writing on the inside. A big fan must have given this to Goodwill. Not a big fan, but you know what I mean. Like somebody died or something, gave this to Goodwill. Somebody was taking care of this book. So I'm very, very happy with that. So now I have this book in hardcover. That's the only other hardcover I have. So far, out of the books I've read, I read about half of Half-Blood Prince when I tried to get back into Harry Potter. Back in the day, I had a girlfriend who loved and obsessed over Harry Potter. It was an ex, long distance, whatever. She was obsessed to it. I tried to impress her by reading the books, and that was the only one I really could find at the time. I didn't pick out the first 4 before that, or 5, whatever it was. I really like the hardcovers for these. I'm a big hardcover fan. I like hardcovers more than I like paperbacks, especially when it comes to Harry Potter. For whatever reason, the paperbacks of Harry Potter are so weird. You try to crack them open, they don't want to stay open, but like they pop every time you even slightly move your fingers. I don't like that. That drives me nuts with books. Moving along now, I'm a big horror fan, as you guys know from the channel. This channel is not just about horror books. I might have said that at some point, but I might review just anything I want to at different times. Most of my intake are horror and thriller type stuff, mystery type stuff. But it wouldn't be a problem to read like a Christmas book or something every once in a while, something like that when we get around December. But this book here was like the only real horror book I could find. I haven't read some of the other ones. I have a horror author also behind this, but this particular book I have never heard of. It sounds really good. I can't wait to read it. It sounds really, really fun. I love the cover. It's very 80s, 70s, 80s, somewhere in there. Robin Cook, Terminal. Look at that cover, man. That's some cool vintage horror looking cover right there. On the back of the book, this guy's dressed up as a doctor. So, I don't know what's up with that. I've never heard of Robin Cook. If you've heard anything about this man before, please let me know if it's any good. It's only about 300 pages. The Terminal is kind of a thriller. I don't really know what to think about that, but I do have a couple more thrillers in here I'm really excited to read. One of them I want to reread. This one I have read. But Robin Cook's book sounds good. I hope it's a good book. This one here, I'm not too excited about reading at some point because I've read it once upon a time. It was not very good. It was a pretty horrible book, frankly. Dean Koontz, The Husband. I never thought I'd find this in a hardcover. I saw it, I'm like, a hardcover at Goodwill is like $2. So I went ahead and grabbed it. And I gotta tell you, I'm not really excited for this book, but I own it, so that is what it is. This is a bad book. If you've ever read this book, you know exactly what I'm talking about, why I think it's a bad book, because the ending and the twist and everything are just unbelievably bad. But it is Dean Koontz, it is a hardcover. I've been thinking about the book recently too, and I was glad to see this, so I went ahead and grabbed it up. I had a paperback years ago, and I threw it out because it was garbage. But still, I went ahead and got that. This other Dean Koontz book I have not read. I saw Travis McBee here on YouTube review this years ago, and this is one of my favorite covers for any kind of Dean Koontz book whatsoever. Probably my top 5 covers from him. And I've always wanted to read it. I have a paperback of it, I just haven't gotten around to reading it anytime soon. This is like my second or third favorite cover of his, but I saw it in hardcover, again, $2. I went ahead and grabbed it. It has some staining on the jacket and stuff, but, you know, maybe I can clean that up, possibly, depending on what it is. False Memory by Dean Koontz. I love this cover. It's a bigger book, too. It is going to be a good book, I have a feeling. If Travis McBee liked it as much as he did, I have a feeling I'll like this, too. It's almost 600 pages long. Really cool cover. Koontz is a good author. When he's good, he's great. When he's bad, he's horrible. He seriously does go that way. If you haven't read that Shadow Street book, oh, Jesus, that was bad. The last book I have in here is one that I also started reading. I'm also going to make a video in a little bit after this video about books I'm currently reading, so you kind of know what reviews are coming up. This is a book from Mentor, and this is 100 Modern Poems, a brilliant collection of the best in modern poetry, selected with an introduction by Selden Rodman. This is about 100 pages long, I believe, if not a little bit longer. It feels thicker than most, like, paperback copies of poetry collections I have. There's a lot of different people in here. These are longer, wordier poems. This is not the kind of Instagram... No, this is almost a 200-page book, by the way. This is not your type of Instagram poetry where it's like a paragraph, but it's like 5 words formatted in an odd way, and we call that poetry. It can be poetry, I guess. I don't really care. I like poetry a lot. I don't know if I want to review poetry books on the channel, because it would basically come down to me, my opinions on one that's more wordy versus not so wordy, you know? Because I have debates with myself about stuff like that. Poetry is really not worth reviewing. It's one of those things kind of like songs. It's really so subjective. There's no real way to review it properly, in my opinion. I don't really think there's any way to really edit a poem either, unless it's something you as the author want to change about a poem. That's just my own personal stance on that. I don't know where you guys feel about that, but I don't know if I'll review that book anytime soon, but I just want to show that to you as another thing. But again, I'm going to do another video, too, about books I'm currently reading. That'll be mentioned there as well. I've read maybe about 10 or 15 pages of this so far, and it's pretty good. Well, it says I'm on page 38, but there is a lot of introduction stuff. A lot of introduction stuff. Yes, I've read about 20 pages of this, even though I'm on page 38. It's pretty good. I like the poems in here. They're not my favorite, but I like them. They're not a Mary Oliver type of thing, but it's pretty good stuff. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the books I picked up here? Have you read any of these? I'm sure a lot of you probably read Harry Potter and Dean Koontz, but what about that Terminal book from Robin Cook? Is that pretty good? That cover looks great. I'm excited about that book. I hope it's good. It sounds good. I don't really know what it's about. I don't really understand what I'm reading on the back, but you never know. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below, guys. Let me know what you think about all this stuff and put your thoughts and comments down there. I love hearing what you guys have to say about stuff when you recommend stuff with me or talk to me or recommend stuff to me or anything like that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Happy Memorial Day. God bless you guys, and goodbye.